We now have the building pad, so continuing in our training guide, we're going to add what we call a grassy area around the building. This is just a general sloping area off of our building for about 20 feet, and we just want to maintain a 2% slope from the building down. We'll be starting on page 1-10 and continuing through page 1-11. So back in my Power Civil file, I'm going to go ahead and start my project. Open up back up my project. And previously we created a building object. I'm just going to do it again to repeat the process. And in that object we added an element. We draped that element on the ground surface 2 feet above it at the highest point. We established that element, the red shape, as a break line and put that break line in the building 1 object. The software then had the side slopes took effect, and off of the edge of that red shape we shot down to the ground surface at 3:1, and therefore we see our slopes around the building. Well, now we have a green lines. If I turn my display off, you can see it better. I have some green lines drawn. Those represent the edge of my grass slope that I desire. So I'm going to come off of the red line at 2% till I hit the edge of the grass slope, and then down at 3:1 from there. So I just introduced a 2D graphic in this case where the slope breaks and changes from 2% to 3:1. So I put that at the correct location, and then on my new /edit site elements dialog, which I got from my modeler elements new, I can assign elevation to those green elements. Now, since I have a site element already, the red building shape, I want to slope from that to the green. So I'm going to use the first tool, slope offset from site element. I'm going to assign a feature. I'm going to assign a slope for my slope calculation, -2 in this case, %. I'm going to not change the height, so I'm not going to go up or down when I get to that 2% slope point. And my projection, I'll leave that at maximum. And I want the software to remember how the elevation was calculated. Therefore, if I have to change my building elevation, I simply just change the building shape, elevation, the red, and the green edge of grass slope will change with it. It will always maintain a 2% slope. Now I want to go and pick the elements that I'm defining. So in the define elements, I click the select elements icon. I pick the green elements that I'm defining. Now that they're selected and highlighted, I then move my attention to the reference element. In this case, the reference element is going to be the building shape, the red building shape, or an site element. So I click select reference, I click the shape, and once I click it, then I left click again, and it accepts that shape, and now I'm ready to click apply. It's very important that I select the shape and then accept the shape when I'm doing the reference element portion. Turn my display back on, and you can see I now come off of the building to the edge of the grass slope, and then I go down at 3:1. And so that establishes my building. Now there's several things we could do real quick to check. For example, I'm going to go ahead and cut a profile through here just to make sure that it looks right. Under Modeler Analysis Profile. I want to cut a profile down at the bottom here along my site model tower. And it's going to draw a white profile line. So I click Add, and that adds it to the list. Then I go to Profile, tab, I click Place Element, I data point on one side of the building, I data point on the other side of the building, and I can see in the profile I have a flat building, a gentle 2% slope, and then 3:1 down to the ground surface. Same thing on the other side, 2% slope, and then 3:1 in this case up to the ground surface. So indeed, I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So now I'm ready to move forward and create other objects.